Alright, let's try this once again. I am now sending the correct bitstream away to Twitch, which should help the problem that I had. Don't know why, but it seemed to give me a lot of skip frames due to encoding lag, and I don't really know where that came from, but it can be that because I set it to stream at 10,000 bits per second, kilobits per second, and Twitch can only handle 6,000. It was sort of overloading constantly because it was generating a lot more data than it could deliver. That might be it. I don't know. It was skip frames due to encoding lag, so that might be the problem. But like I said before, sorry about this. Welcome back to Mike's Basement. I just had a dropout now. It still says that I'm live, but I'm not sending anything at all to Twitch. That's a little bit disconcerting. Alright, I was just reconnected now. I don't know what happened with my Twitch. I'm sorry about that. Like I said, we're going to play some American Truck Simulator this afternoon here. It's 2:30 here almost 2:30 here in Denmark. And I'm looking very much forward to continuing our trip into the American wildlife and nature with trucking. So let's get on right away. I will say this just right off the bat. I'm not done streaming Star Citizen, not at all, and I will also play Star Citizen as much as I can. I just, like I said, want to sort of rediscover new games that I've always found to be interesting, but now I want to do a little bit more with them. Hope that you can enjoy it just as much as I will enjoy it, and then I will see you on the flip side. Let's get into the game. Alright, and we're going to take off just where we left off last. I'm just going to check the numbers. I'm still live. I have no drop frames on behalf of the network. The connection is fine. Let's get going. So if you didn't follow my YouTube stream yesterday, I can tell you this much. I'm going to do some more of these basic runs before we go into buying our own truck. I mean, I will never earn enough money that I can buy my own truck right off the bat, unless you're going to see me play this game for a very, very, very long time this way. So I honestly think that it will be more interesting to just do a couple more of these jobs and then get some more money by getting our own truck. One of the reasons that I also want to get my own truck is that I can set it up as I want it, how I want to look out of the windscreen and all that, and then I don't need to redo it every time I get into I get into a new truck. So I'm going for the Kenworth. I think it's called the W900. That is my preferred truck. I really love the look of this truck. It looks so awesome. But obviously we're going to start out with the day cab version. Nevertheless, let's get right on with it. Going to the quick job offer. And just as always, we are here in Salsa Lake City. If you know that reference, please tell me in the chat. Oh yes, one thing that I mentioned in my YouTube stream yesterday, I have set up a bunch of commands that you can use right now. For example, if you type !where, you will get to know that I'm from Copenhagen, Denmark. if you ask something like I don't know what I wanted to call it, so I just called it Big Brains, then you can know, if you want to know, that I hold a master degree in physics from the University of Copenhagen. I will add a bunch of stuff to it. Let me just make a poll right now that I want you to respond to. Sorry about that. I should have done this in advance, but let me just do it. No, not Twitch. Streamlabs. There we go. What I want you to what I want to ask you is, do you prefer me streaming on Twitch, or would you just as much like for me to stream on YouTube? That's the big question here. Because I don't mind doing it either way. There are some advantages I think there is about doing it on Twitch, and there are other means that makes it a little bit better doing it on YouTube. But I'm not sort of very much for one and not so much against the other. So I will start a poll right now that you can answer on throughout this stream, and you can also tell me what you think should happen in the comments on my YouTube channel when I put it out on YouTube. So let's the question is for today: do you prefer YouTube or Twitch for streaming? Let me see. MB streams, Mike's Basement streams, and there are obviously two options. So one is YouTube. You can obviously vote. Sorry. Let me just make that. And that is YouTube. So there are obviously two questions. I mean, two answers that you can give. One is Twitch and one is YouTube. And you can answer, if you prefer YouTube, then you will answer with exclamation mark, vote YouTube. Space YouTube. And if you prefer Twitch, you will obviously answer with exclamation mark, vote Twitch. And again with a space between. So done, and let's start that poll right now. And then I'll see what happens when the stream is over. And you can see here a poll has opened for: do you prefer YouTube or Twitch for MB streams? Use vote YouTube or Twitch to vote. And you can do that throughout the stream and until I stop in a couple of hours or something like that. With that being said, let's get back into the game. So we are here at Salta Lake City. If you know what I refer to here, then please let me know in the comments down below. We are going to, all of these jobs here is with the this Kenworth K100, and I've driven it the last couple of streams, so why not also do it today before we get our own. Unfortunately, it doesn't pay out that well. 6,100. This is all the way down to 4,000. It is a much nicer, more modern truck, but let's just go for this one. It expires in 20 minutes. Let's take it. Alright, so hope that you're ready to go on the American highways and have some fun. Obviously, this is a very relaxing game. That's why I like to play it also. Alright. Okay. Sounds like we have some rain going on. So let me just turn these on. Yeah, I can see we have. And unfortunately, I do need to have this on because this truck will not tell me which gear I'm in. Obviously, I could have gone for... There we are. I could have gone for something like a automatic transmission, but since I don't have a real stick shift for my, I have a Logitech Driving Force GT. So it has this sequential stick shift, but other than that, nothing else. So let's get going. Alright. Just as yesterday, I will make it very clear for you, hopefully, that I will try to be as engaging as I possibly can while I play. But since I know much more about the surrounding areas and the story and all that when we play Euro Truck Simulator, being that I'm from Europe, I cannot tell you so much about the United States, the states that we are in, or something like that. So we can, we can share the experience, but I can't give you sort of anecdotes or anything like that. Alright, seems to be clear. So speed limit is 30, so let's just engage the autopilot. Not autopilot, that's something I have from Star Citizen, sorry about that. The cruise control, it's called the cruise control. And then turn left. Oh, these are so weird, these intersection here, but we need to be here. It's green. And now it obviously changed. Made it. Let me see if I can move it back just a little bit. There we go. Obviously, that's the way it works, right? It changed just when you need it not to. That seems to be the anatomy of these light curves here. Yeah, I know. And I need to sorry, but I need to cut off some people here. Last time I got really stuck here, so I'll try not to do that again. I seem to manage. All right. But I must say, I love the sound from these engines here. And the next time I will stream, I don't know what game I will stream. Maybe Star Citizen, maybe Euro Truck Simulator 2. But I will open the poll there as well to see what you guys think. And at some point, I will also open a poll where you can answer what games you prefer me playing. I know that some of you are very interested in Star Citizen, which is obviously fair enough. I mean, I love playing Star Citizen, so that's a good game to play. But I also like to show off these games here, mainly because both Euro Truck and also American Truck Simulator, henceforth I will call them ETS2 and ATS because that's quicker. They are both games in development. I mean, they are not sort of in development the same way that Star Citizen is. They are obviously way past alpha or even beta, but they're still adding content with in the form of expansion packages, new states and all that. All right, so let's
exit right.
I will. go over here. I'm sorry if I cut someone off. If I can make it. I could, how nice. Well, let's see if we can move in without hurting someone. So if you can hear some clickety clickety in the background, it's because of my shifter.
Go straight.
Yes, sir. What I don't understand in this game is why the heck the NPC cars here are driving so dang slow. I can get out without destroying him. I could. Oh, come on. We're going to get a little bit reduction in. Yeah, that's right. That's one of the things. I mean, one of the cool things about playing in ETS 2 Clubstick is that you have a lot of opportunities to do long cross-country deliveries, especially if you have pro mods on. But just having, I mean, half of all the states in, I mean, already with the states we have now, you have a lot of opportunity to really go through a lot of states when you deliver things. But taking a really long trip on, I mean, on over several streams from something like Seattle to Florida or something like that, that would be so awesome. And by the way, welcome to my stream. Sorry, maybe I should have started out with that. Oh, I'm going too fast, you say? Fair enough. I'm definitely going too fast. To be honest, I don't really know. What? Oh, that's my, oh yeah. That was my, the wire from my headset that pressed the space key. Let me see.
Stay right.
Reservoir tanks. We're going from Salt Lake City to Moab, I suppose it's... Oh, sorry. Wrong button again. Yes, I will... Thank you. Will he give me? He will give me room, thank you. And now he won't. But he did. Yeah, exactly. But they told me it was flour. I mean, yeah, no, honestly, I just more or less looked at the truck I was going to drive, and and how much it paid out. Let me see. Yeah, we're going straight. So I didn't really notice what I was hauling. Obviously, I don't know if it's obvious, but I will pay a little bit more attention to what I'm actually hauling when we get to the point where I have my own truck. Let's start there, and then when I have trailers, I need to sort of be more selective of what I try to haul around. I must admit that I just thought that car was going to slam right into me. I will go for the W900, the Kenworth, the big one. I mean, the one with the old style, the old school style. Basically, it's just because I love the way it looks. I mean, I think it looks great, but still have sort of a, I don't know how to put it, sort of I wouldn't exactly call it an aggressive look, but it looks yeah, I know, sorry.
Stay left.
There's something, in my opinion, about, oh, yeah. No, not stay left. Oh. No, you're not going to. Sorry. Officer, I didn't see the signs. Yeah, exactly. But like I said yesterday on my YouTube stream, from the looks of the trucks, there is no doubt that I prefer the hooded trucks. I mean, like the Kenworth 900 or something like that. But when it comes to actually driving them, I must say I do prefer the cabovers, the European style trucks. Basically because you have a much more well-defined view of the limits of where you can go with the truck. They are more maneuverable. But obviously, like I've heard from, I follow a guy here on YouTube. I mean, also on Twitch, called Arthur Chapman. He also plays a lot of Euro Truck and American Truck, and he's from the United States, and he says one of the wrong button. Actually, wrong shift. One of the things he says, the main difference between American roads and European roads is that European roads, like I know them, they are narrow. They're very, very narrow. Whereas on the American road, you have a bit of room left and right, so you can swivel around if you want to do that. And but still, I do prefer the maneuvering-wise. I prefer the European trucks. I mean, I can certainly I can back in a trailer with one of these big trucks here, but it's much easier in ETS. And I mean, you can make the cabovers look pretty awesome as well. But there's just something about this big hood sticking out. And one other thing I've noticed is that there is a vast difference in the engine sound between the European trucks and the Americans. Even though, interestingly enough, the horsepower they output, the effect they output from either engines are somewhat comparable. Yeah, we need to go straight. Then probably stay right. Yep. Didn't even notice it had stopped raining. The only thing I don't like about this truck, one of the reasons this is a mod, by the way, the Kenworth W900, no, sorry, K100, I think it's called. One of the reasons I downloaded this truck was that it reminds me of, let me just show you if I can find a straight piece of road here. Despite the color, I think it should be red and blue. I seem to recall that this is the truck that this is Optimus Prime, at least one of the trucks that he wore, or whatever you want to call it. But the only thing I don't like about this truck is that I don't have a display where I can see which gear I'm in. That's also why I have the GPS over at the right. Because I don't have a stick shift, a real stick shift. If I had that, it wouldn't be a problem. So yeah, but that I can see that on the other trucks. One interesting thing that I have noticed that I think is pretty funny is that in Europe, yeah, it is. I mean, it looks pretty okay. It sort of looks like fake wood or something like that. But yeah, it is very.
Exit right.
It resembles the era from where the truck is probably from. It's an older style, especially because, as far as I understand the history, the American truck producers or semi-producers quickly went from cab overs to if I can get out again, yeah, from cab overs to hooded trucks because of comfort and because of there not being so many restrictions on length as we have here in Europe. Everything here is also analog. There's nothing digital. Maybe I should look that up. I haven't looked it. I haven't really. I mean, I've been pretty much into Star Citizen very, very much for a very long time. So it's just recently that I got into these games here. One of the major reasons that I went into sorry, not blinked that much. Went into ATS was that we got, well, from my perspective at least, got a couple of states almost in a row. That meant we had sort of a connection. We still only have a little slice of the West Coast, but now we have, I mean, a couple of connected states that we can go back and forth between. That's why I went into it, and obviously for ETS2, I mean, the only reason I get out of ETS sometimes is that whenever they put out a new patch, which is nice, obviously, is that pro mods gets screwed up, and then I have to wait for that to get fixed, and then I get pro mods, and then I play a lot of Star Citizen, and then when I get back into ETS2, the pro mods, there's a new patch, pro mods does. I mean, it's a evil cycle. But now I try to do it a little bit more, because I do enjoy these games very much. So, but what I was saying before, one of the things I find to be very interesting, sort of a dichotomy, is that when you compare Europe, and for that matter, I think you can also include Great Britain if you want to look at natively, I mean countries that speak English natively. Obviously, Great Britain is one of those. Denmark, where I'm from, is not. When you look at Europe as a whole, most of the semi-trucks we have here is they have automatic gears, automatic gearboxes. Very few of them has manual transmissions, whereas many of the normal cars, they usually have stick shift. I mean, we have now. I've had a car for almost 20 years, I think. Wow. And all of those cars has been with stick shift. It's just recently that we got a Skoda Octavia with automatic gearbox. But generally, it has been seen that from a European sort of point of view, that automatic gearboxes were sort of something exclusive. Something like for big Audis or Mercedes or something like that. And what I found was, speaking to, I mean, people like Mr. Chapman and likewise, is that it's the complete opposite in the US, that most of the semi-trucks there, they have stick shift. Most of the normal cars, and also I suppose that goes for perhaps that goes for pickup trucks as well. I'm not sure about that, but generally most of the cars that you drive in the US, they all have automatic gearboxes. So I think it's funny to think that it sort of went opposite ways. Oh yes, dirt road. Oh yes, if you manage to notice that I quite a lot actually fumble around with the gearbox here, it's because I have I don't know if you heard it, I have a Driving Force GT. No, you don't need to find a new route.
Please make a U-turn when possible.
No, I don't want to make a U-turn. I have a Driving Force GT, and it has this little what is it called?
Okay,
not semi.
let's find a new route.
No, let's not find a new route. Oh.
When possible, make a U-turn.
No, I will not make a U-turn when possible. I'll figure out a way to park these trailers here. Yeah, it has this yeah, and I get that. I mean, I can tell you right now that the car we have now, it has two sort of settings for the automatic gearbox, and it's generally just a way to tell the computer when it needs to go up to a higher gear, and you can even shift it over to have sort of a semi-automatic sequential gearbox. It still tends to overrule you, especially you don't need to shift down, but when you shift up, you can choose yourself. But it has the auto gearbox has two settings. It's sport, and then there's normal drive. And I will say this, still being very fond of stick shift gearboxes. I don't think there's really any performance loss. Yeah, something like that, right? We don't have eco in ours. It's We have eco for the cruise control, the autopilot, but the gearbox it itself, it only has drive and sport, and it basically just when you set it in sport, it goes to a higher gear at a little higher amount of RPMs when you have the throttle pushed down, the speeder pushed down a certain amount. So if you put it in sport and you drive it very easily, it will still shift rather early up into a higher or lower gear, depending on how you see it. I didn't get any. All right, so I hope that I would level up. All right, let's take this one. I mean, I really enjoy driving around in the K100, but let's go for a Western Star this time before I take out a loan and get my own truck. Yeah, I really don't think I've compared it now to
Ready to roll.
driving in. Just get set up here. There we go. I tried to compare it when I sort of we had a I don't know where are you from, Clubstick, if I may ask? Just to get sort of a all right, let me just put it out. The thing I wanted to say was that I know that in Europe, and I mean in most of Europe, we have a car that is called an Opel. But I know that for British people, they call it a Vauxhall. It's the same car. It's completely the same car. It's just a different name. Are you from the US? Do you also have Vauxhall, or do you have Opel there? Or don't you have any of them? But nevertheless, we had a Vauxhall Opel. I think it was a 1.4 turbo gas car. I mean, not diesel. I know. So we had that before. That was with stick shift, and I mean, you could really feel when that turbo kicked in. But the point I'm trying to make is that when I compare, and what we have now is it's a 2.0 turbo diesel TDI with the common rail and all that jazz. When you compare that, when I compare sort of the efficiency, if you will, going in the automatic gearbox and compared with that Vauxhall Opel car we had before, both of them are a station car, by the way. I don't see any real performance difference. I think that if it were to come to sort of real performance cars, you might be able to draw a little performance, but then you would probably go for something like a sequential gearbox instead, because you need some really hefty clutch in order to turn all that power around. So yeah, I mean, we are leasing our car, so I mean, our options is of course limited by what we can lease at that given moment. But me and my wife have talked about that we don't see ourselves going back to stick shift in the foreseeable future, mainly because we live in I live in Copenhagen, and even though that's not a really big city, it is, however, a reasonable large city. And there's also a lot of queues and traffic jams and all that here. And having automatic gearbox is just way easier. And even when we have it's the first car that I have had this in. We have an adaptive cruise control. So I told my wife that it has never been easier to drive a car, because you don't have to do anything other than, I mean, keep your eyes on the road and steer the wheel. So yeah. The only thing I missed from the Opel was that it had a road camera up with the rear mirror. So it could see road signs. So if you missed a speed limit at some point, you could look down in the dashboard and it could tell you what the latest road sign it saw was. And also it would keep an eye on the lines on the road, so that if you sort of swiveled out to the side, it will recorrect you back. Oh, that's more gears. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's an old $50. All right. Yeah, I don't know what really happened. I mean, I do know what happened. I mean, without without going too much into politics and sort of ranting about my political point of view, let's just say that the former administration you had was very adamant on keeping most of the stuff that you had in the US. So obviously that would go for cars as well. I seem to recall that there was some point in time where there was a great interest among Americans for European cars. I think the basic, if I remember correctly, the basic the main reason was that many of the cars that was made in the US had very soft and very comfortable suspension settings, which, like I mentioned, they would be very nice to drive. I mean, very pleasant to drive, but they would be, I mean, stick horribly to the road. Whereas in European cars, we relatively quickly shifted over to more stiff suspension. And I think it was about that time where Americans would sort of look to the European cars and sort of think to themselves, I think that we want that as well. But it is my understanding that many of the American car manufacturers, they quickly caught up. I can remember that the one of the first Corvettes that was in the European series, that is the GTE with Le Mans and all that, they always came last because they had this incredible soft suspension. So anytime when they were on a straight path, they could just blow the competition away.
Turn right.
I mean, within the rules, of course. But every time there was a turn, they would just, I mean, get obliterated. And then I think it was with the Sixer, the Corvette 6. Yeah, exactly. And I seem to recall that it was with the C6 or 6C or whatever it's called. They shifted over to the harder, more stiffer suspension also in the European series, and that just made a heck of a difference. And I seem to think that it also had made, I mean, the general the American series you have. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. It recently changed its name. But yeah, here in Denmark we called the old American cars, the that kind of the big ones, we called them floaters. Yeah, but they were also rocking around. Yeah, but it looked sort of when they sort of took these soft turns, it looks like this sort of just floated over the street. So that's where the name came from. But now the one has a cat in here. But now I think the only real difference there is between the only real difference there is now between American and European cars is the size. Yeah, I know. And I get it. I mean, it is luxurious. And one of the reasons, as I understand it, that besides the lack of, or at least the extended length limitations, we have strict length limitations in Europe regarding semi-trucks. The main reason why truck manufacturers in the US went away from the cab over to the hooded trucks was, one, that they could do it without being penalized on the length of the added length to the semi, but the other reason was that the cab over trucks at that time was very uncomfortable riding, because you were literally sitting just above the main driving axle. So whenever you hit the slightest bump or anything like that, it will just travel straight up into the back of the driver.
Stay right.
And here I think that the European truck manufacturers, they have, I mean, I would call it brilliant, because they have made several decoupled modes. I can't remember the order of things, but I know that most of the driver seats in European trucks, they are hydraulic, so it's almost like sitting sort of on a cushion of air, and also the entire cab is decoupled from the main driving axle by some sort of spring suspension or something like that. So instead of having to shorten the truck and put a hood on it, I must admit I don't know if it's active or if it's passive. I just know when my uncle, he drove a semi truck, and when I was out driving with him, I noticed that when he started the engine, the seat would sort of go up, and it would sort of, when he sat there, he would sort of bounce up and up and down, and I noticed whenever you open the hood on the truck and when it sort of accelerates and all that,
Ready to turn left.
that the cab is decoupled by, I don't know if that's also some sort of hydraulic system or if it's a spring system. But I think the system in itself is brilliant, because then you get, you get the best of two worlds. You get the added comfort from the hooded trucks, and not the same comfort, but that comfort. But then you also get the reduced length of the semi. And obviously, if you don't have any rules, sort of limiting how long you can make a truck, or at least very wide rules regarding that, then it doesn't make any real difference, other than, I suppose, what the driver prefer to drive. But in Europe, it does make a pretty big difference. It's a very fantastic way to park. Oh, sorry. He was not parked, he was stopped. One of the things I find to be really... I think I'll use the term insane. Is the velocities that truck drivers are allowed to go with. I mean, when I say in the US, let's just keep it at what I'm allowed to drive in here in ATS. But I suppose that it has to reflect reality in some sense. I'd say that in most of Europe, maybe except certain parts of France, you are mostly allowed to go 80 kilometers per hour. And what that is in miles, I think it's about 35 or something like that. Yeah, I know I'm going too fast. Oh, 50. All right. But then at some highways here, if you're allowed as a truck driver to go, what is it, 80 miles or 70 miles per hour, something like that. That is almost the speed limit, I think, or maybe even above the speed limit of what normal cars are allowed to travel here in Denmark. The highest speed that you're allowed to drive here in Denmark is 130 kilometers per hour. So I think that should be probably around 70, 80 miles or something like that. Maybe even a little bit less. Yeah. I can tell you this much: if a semi driver here in Denmark drove 130 down our highways, he would most certainly lose his license, but he might even get jailed for that. Yeah, I know that, of course. And I get it, but still, speed is speed. Okay. And obviously you're only allowed to drive that fast in a semi-truck on, I mean, big highway roads or something like that, where you are almost certain that you have enough room to stop the truck, but still, it's really, really fast. Cattle God. All right. Oh.
Go straight.
Yeah, I don't know what you wrote, but I mean, I just recently set that up, so it might be a little excessive, but at least you only got a 1 second timeout, so. 35, all right. Yeah, yeah, because I can't adjust the limits right now. Oh yes. I mean, my son, he has the and I know it's a, I mean, it's a completely different topic, but he just recently bought the Oculus Rift 2 headset, and as I understand it, the Rift 2, it sort of measures your distance around the room by having a lot of cameras sitting around on it, so you can even technically, I suppose you could enable all cameras so you could see what's on your side, but that would be extremely confusing. But when you go outside the bounds, you can see through, I think, the front cameras, so you can see if you step on something. But if you could implement something like that on a car, and then instead of having, I mean, just a camera viewport, you get sort of a,
Go straight.
yeah, like you said, some kind of virtual reality positioning of your car, that would be insane. But even now we have something like that. I mean, I saw one of the episodes of Top Gear, and I think it was Clarkson who tested it out. One of and by the way, that was one of, I think it was an Opel that could park. I mean, make a parallel parking on its own. And he he literally sat in the car and closed his eyes while he tried it out. But it did. It actually did make a perfect parallel parking on its own. Yeah, I know. I think that believe that we have the mid-range. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was. One thing is the advertisement, and I mean, when you have an advertisement, they put sort of a thick layer on it. But actually seeing him sitting in that car and just pressing that button and holding, I mean, he covered his eyes. It was so insane because it did it. And it didn't scratch any other cars. It didn't hit any. Whoa.
Rerouting.
Where was that? Is that a little dirt road? Yeah. Alright. See if I have anyone behind me. No. Yeah, now I have. Can make it all the way around. How much room I have here. Yes and no, and I mean, yeah, I have, but I haven't tried driving truck simulator in VR yet. I believe you need to have sort of a program, and I can't remember what it's called to do that. But R-Factor 2, which is very much different, that's a racing simulator. You can drive that in VR. And I also tried DCS World, the combat jet simulator. I tried that in
Right.
VR as well. So I have tried driving in VR, and I must say, particularly for the R-Factor 2, the racing driver simulation. Oh, it makes it so much better because you can actually look to the sides and see if you have an opponent on your side, and you can. Yeah, I've heard of Assetto Corsa. I mean, it just fell on the choice of R-Factor 2. What sold me off mainly on that was that there's a professional branch of the engine that they use in R-Factor 2, and I think it's just called R-Factor. Yeah, exactly. I think it's just called R-Factor Pro, and it's something that they sell for a heck of a lot of money to studio that made it to racing companies, and it's very very detailed in its modeling. It has several layers of tire simulation, so you can actually puncture your tire in different ways. You can, when you slide across the road, it will eat up certain parts of your tire, so it will make a heck of a lot of rumble in my steering wheel. It's very very detailed. So that's one of the reasons why I chose that. I know that the graphics is very beautiful in Assetto Corsa, but thank you for following. But I don't know if it's I don't know how detailed it is in the racing model itself. To put it in another word, I don't know how arcadey it is. Where am I supposed to? Need to take a look outside to see. Oh, okay, fair enough. I mean, one of the things about R-Factor 2 is that you have some modders. I need to take a look outside. You have some modders that when they make the modded cars, they will give you sort of a reasonable good build that you can work on from. But if you get sort of a bare bone build, and with build I mean how you set up the spoilers and the suspension and all that, you can spend hours and hours and hours on an oval track just to get the suspension locked down properly. And I mean, for some people that can be a little bit tedious. I certainly get that if you just want to go in and... Yeah, just like real racing. But if you just want to go in and do a 30-minute quick drive, quick track, then obviously it seems completely overkill to spend several hours on getting your car racing ready. but that's the way it is in R-Factor 2, and I completely screwed that parking up. Well, not completely, but almost completely. If I can... I think that if I'm not mistaken, they changed. I think that R-Factor 2 branched out a little bit, so that the original company behind the engine, they retained the rights to certain part of it, but they there we go. But then oh, what was I going to say? Oh yes, the R-Factor 2 part was transferred to a new studio. I think they're called Studio 369 or something like that. And they have, if I'm not mistaken, tried to make... I mean, you could start your own racing Grand Prix and let all that by just teaming up with someone on one of the forums and then making your own little Grand Prix, whatever you wanted to do it. But I think that the new studio, they are trying to sort of also make something, I mean, I wouldn't call it legit, but something that they are doing, and then have people join in there. But yeah, you also, I mean, you have the old 60s racing cars, and I mean, I'm still completely confabulated over the fact that driver safety at that era was a little sort of almost like sort of a leather helmet that you had on in the 60s and thereabout. So I mean, seriously, what is that supposed to protect you from? And the Formula cars, it was simply just, I mean, 4 wheels, some suspension slapped onto an engine, and then a little hole where you could have a driver sitting in. So I mean, seriously. And now you have yeah, exactly. And now, I mean, at that point, you drove with stick shifts. So, I mean, wow. I know that speed has increased. So you have a fraction of a more second reaction time at that point than you do now, because speed has increased and all that. So I think that as technology progressed, but also the fact that drivers had to spend much more time looking at the road and not sort of figuring out which gear am I in or where I need to go. I mean, they still have a lot of options for fuel settings and all that on the steering wheel. But I think in general, one of the reasons that we went to something like a sequential gearbox, besides the fact that the engines have more power output and all that, was to sort of free the driver from thinking about shifting gears and all that, to just, I mean, focus on driving. So obviously, speed has increased. I mean, I can remember seeing recordings from, I think it was the Le Mans Cirque du what's it called? The Le Mans track in the 70s, when they had the long straight. I think it's called Mulsanne Straight. Without the barriers, the cars would hit almost, I mean, close to 400 kilometers per hour, even past that. and it was so incredible dangerous when they sort of went down that straight and just had to make a relatively sharp turn. So that's why they put in the barriers, the what are they called? Yeah, that you need to turn around in order to. I can't remember the name, but they put that in order to keep the speed down. A chicane, yes, that's right. Yeah, they had to put that in because otherwise the cars, they were insanely fast. I mean, insanely fast, and they still are. I mean, one of the reasons that I'm very, very sad that that Audi and Porsche, they pulled out of the prototype racing series in here in Europe, and I suppose also in the US, is that now we only have Toyota, and while Toyota makes really cool cars, I mean, they are a $billion company competing against, I wouldn't call them amateurs, because they are, as far as I understand it, professional. But they are, I mean, small teams with very, very limited resources. So obviously, Toyota wins every time, and it's even, I mean, it is prototype cars, so obviously they have prototype, but it's the same model that they use mainly. There's Toyota, and then there are the others. And at least when we had Audi and Porsche, they could give them some challenge. But that electric system on the front wheel to give them that boost, and then the I think it was a V6 diesel engine, turbocharged diesel engine they had in the Audi P1 series, or Ps, or whatever they called. I mean, they went from, what was it, about 50 kilometers per hour to 300 kilometers per hour in a matter of seconds. Yeah, they were. All right, let's see. Do I have time for one more trip? Yeah, I think I do. No. Now I want my own truck, because now I have a reasonable profit per 7 days, 30,000. That's an okay profit in a week. All right, let's see. We need to contact Mr. Bank. So, no, let me just get an idea of... That was truck upgrades. That was really not what I wanted. Let's see, Kenworth. Access the dealer. Oh. Interesting. Oh, that's because the mod up. Yeah. Let me see. Visit. Yeah, sure, I want to visit. All right, let's see. I want the that one. The W900 and 113,000 blah 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 blah. Maybe I'll customize it a little bit. So let's just go for a yeah. I mean, yeah, I know I can get the. Let's just go for this. Don't care. I will earn it in anyways. Let's see. Back to Kenworth. Yeah, I really want to travel to Ogden. Ow. What's the difference? That's also a day cab. Oh, I need to be level 8 to get that. So, customize. But I don't think I'm high enough level to get the sleeper cab yet. Oh yeah, I am. And I borrowed 400,000, so we can... what's the difference between this and that? Oh, my game crashed. That's the difference. Uh, all right, I'll allow it. Yep, there we went. Let's try it again. I think it's that mod that somehow problematic. All right, let's see. Skill. Oh, so I didn't even. All right, so we're going to talk with the bank once again, and let's see. Truck dealers. Yes. I know. Let's see, big sleep one. Oh, why the heck does it crash every time I try to? I'll try something else. No, not the Kenworth. That one. Yeah, it also says it's obsolete. Alright. Let's try it again. Yeah, I know. It's okay. It's okay. Continue. Probably won't make my truck explode in my face just because I removed that little mod. There you go. Let's try it again. Yes, I will like to. Alright, let's see. There we go. Customize. Aha. That's the reason why I can't get the sleeper cab yet. That's probably why it crashed, because it gave me an option that I really didn't have. Let's see, short, mid lift. Short 6x4, short 6. Oh, that's because I have four driving axles. Do I want that? I mean, it will make my. Yeah, let's just take it. Make my wheels. Let's see, this is a 4 or 5. Okay. I mean, I have the money right now, so might as well. It did remember. All right. The transmission, I want one with a retarder. And can't do anything there. All right, let's see. No. Let's try something in here. So what I wanted, my logo is that envelope thing, so it's red. Yeah. And there is some blue in it as well, if I'm not mistaken. And let's make the last one sort of a little bit yellowish, just to make the colors insane. Maybe let's go for a little bit more orange type, so it doesn't look completely crazy. All right. And accessories. Let's see what we can get there. Nothing. I want that. That's okay. Hood mirrors. Nothing. Metal fender guards. Let's see. Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's see. Nothing to do there, and I don't want to put on an oversized load. Standard. Steel. Standard. Standard. And up cover. Take these. And front tires, yeah, that's okay. That's the only thing we have right now. Double. Nothing there. That's what we already have. Standard. Cab. Standard. Come on, let me get that last one. Nothing. And still dynamics reels. Let's see. Same. Same. Nothing I can change there. Warning flags. No, not yet. What about interior design? Let's see, what do I have here? Oh, how cool. Let's see, what can we get? Yeah, let's get a US. Standard plate, but I want it on the other side. And it is Hansen that's driving. No, let me use my the ones I got in the military. MF. That was what I was called when I was enlisted. Yeah, sure, modern. Let's see. Cowboy. And a bee. Yay, a little bee. Wonder what that does. Console. I want a just a Coke can. Let's see. Down here. Cup holders. Sure. Bottle of water. And a coffee mug. And then maybe I should remove that. There we go. Alright, let's see. That was the air filters. Cardboard box. No, I don't want that. Fuel consumption expense. Paper towels. Tablet. Oh. Notebook. Yeah, sure. I think I can do... No, because we don't have a sleeper cab yet, so nothing I can do there. What about this? That's available from level 5. Alright, I suppose that's fine enough. Confirm. Purchase. Thank you for buying your first truck from us. Please come again. Obviously I will. Please note that all trucks bought here have regular insurance paid already. Nice. No pizza. Alright, let's see. Alright, yeah. Dang it. I unfortunately have to cut the scene right now. I have to go pick up my daughter from daycare in about 10 minutes. So, but I'm looking very much forward to doing some more trucking in ETS2 and ATS. Yeah, you too, man, and come back when I do something. If you have interest in Star Citizen, then that can be a treat for you. If you don't know what it is, then come look at it anyway, because then you'll see what it is. And if you're just generally curious, then come watch it anyway. And yeah, I would close off with my usual by saying that if you want to follow me, you could do so on Twitch. And if you like the video, give it, on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can get notified whenever I do something new. But obviously, I know that you did follow me on Twitch, so thank you very much for that. I will drop by if I get some time for it. I mean, I'm a father of 2 kids. That takes a heck of a lot of time away from me. But here in the early mornings and mid-afternoon, and I have a little bit of time. But yes, I will definitely try to do it. Alright, see you around, hopefully. Bye-bye.